and welcome back to Upstate New York. I am Carson Cash, joined with Gunjan Silwal. Yes, Gunjan Silwal, excuse me. We are live from the Shine Gaming and Esports Center. We've got a very good matchup here today between the Syracuse Orange and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Similar story to last night if you tuned into our Overwatch game. Struggling Cornhuskers squad coming to our town to try and face the Orange and find a win. This one a little bit different. Not a perennial contender. Our squad is struggling towards the mid-pack, though they have improved. Yet to see a 2-0 this year. Lost twice in a Game 3 scenario, and we'd love to see a Game 3 here, but this time a win, hopefully, for the Syracuse squad.
Yeah, and I'm super excited. You know, Valorant, especially one of those games where it's just kind of about feel. It's about hitting your shot. Sometimes Syracuse has been close. They pushed Ohio State to a game number 3. They weren't able to get it done, but I'm excited to see if they're going to be able to get it done versus the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, and obviously going against what is essentially viewed as the 1 and 2 team, defending championship appearances for both of those squads. It's nice to get a breath of fresh air, and move on to a team like Nebraska, then Utah next week. Utah is not easy at all, we'll be honest, but we'll take a look back at Michigan State last week, Ohio State last week, where the Orange did a pretty good job after this Corrode game. What you're seeing now is just about the only highlight from Corrode, and we jump back towards the other side. They did a very good job on Bind. Stopped had an excellent game themselves. They went almost to overtime, and they found their way through. Did a fantastic job, played a very good game, and the Orange came out on top. But towards Game 3, it was a very big struggle on split. Orange fought all the way back from 10-2 to 10-9, but just could not find another round, and unfortunately for the Orange, it ended a little too quickly for how they'd liked. But we go into today, there is plenty of hope for an Orange squad not playing the MVP.
And it's going to be really exciting to see kind of how this Orange squad kind of performs because, you know, they've been improving. They struggled a little bit, especially in the winter, but as the spring has kind of rolled around, they've been improving a lot. They've been kind of putting together some wins. They've been putting together kind of a more coherent roster. So I'm excited to see kind of how this roster performs, especially with some freshman standouts like Monster.
Yeah, Monster may not play every match today, but saw him in Game 3. Did an excellent job versus Ohio State on split. As we move down now towards the latter half of the season, you want to see your younger players really take a bigger role. And Drago and Monster, they've been splitting it right now, and the reason why is the addition of Mobugi last September. Very big player when he was on the Duelist, but right now he's really struggling in those Sentinel and Initiator roles. You have to find a way. If you're him, he's my key of the game. If he finds his way, the Orange will win. They were one player away, essentially, from, I think, beating that Ohio State squad and causing a huge upset, but I think overall they have to find a way to get him involved, play a little bit better, even switching him onto that double duelist they typically play, where it's him and Pretz, who neither of them are natural duelists, but both play very well on it.
And I'm excited to see kind of how Mobugu does end up kind of going through this because you talk about this. When you are a duelist and you are playing that duelist role, it's going to be easy to kind of initiate because you kind of just are that front line offense. When you kind of switch over to those controllers, to those sentinels and initiators, you kind of have to be able to play with the team a little bit more. And it's about team cohesion. You know, he just came in September. It's about kind of figuring out how you fit into this squad. Just like any traditional sports, you kind of, as much as one player can stand out, 5 members make a team. So it's going to be interesting to see how he kind of fits in.
Yeah, Mobugi was Mobucky for some time, did an excellent job as a duelist on Neon, but just couldn't find it in those later rounds. And eventually, once they've switched off of duelist, they can't really find it otherwise. Obviously, a very talented, weirdly, Valorant not his game. He's a professional Overwatch player back home, and it's weird. He's very good at this game, but he really struggles in certain moments, especially with playing with the team, and they need somebody to find a way to put it together and just get the glue together. They need a glue guy, and I think Monster is that. He played a lot better in Game 3 last week, and they need to find a way to keep Monster in the lineup, as well as Drago hopefully down the line, so they can develop these younger talents and see them next year. Obviously, 3 of these members right now are graduating.
Yeah, with all these 3 members kind of graduating, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how these members kind of take over. You talked about development just like in any traditional sports. You have to build up the talent that are coming in. With the standings, you know, right now Syracuse is sitting just middle of the pack, 3-7 record. They had a bye week last week, and with the Cornhuskers, they are sitting at 1-11. They did have some close matches a little bit, but again, 0-2 versus, they had an 0-2 matchup versus the University of Minnesota last week. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how these teams shake out as they're trying to put together some wins, because at the end of the day, when it comes to a program, even if you don't start off strong, it's about kind of building up and building that momentum.
Yeah, right now Syracuse eliminated from the top 3 seeds. They technically can go and fight Utah, but it would take a win next week. They brought Utah to Game 3 last semester, but going to be interesting to see if they win tonight and Kansas takes a loss against Boise State. And let me tell you, Boise State's pretty good. They'll
Yep.
probably, pretty hard to imagine that they will find a way to win, though they are a very talented team. I have to imagine that if Syracuse wins tonight, they could find their way back into this 5th place slot, which is big in Vegas, especially in this, considering you are going to go from playing, if you are in that 6th spot and moving up to 5th, you're going to go from actually pretty much a harder opponent. You're going to probably typically, with how brackets work, we're going to get a bye because there's 9 teams. You're probably going to play the 1 seed if you were to win, but it's a better opponent for you. It's somebody in Utah, probably very likely, who you're going to see in that 4-5 game. And the Orange want to get there because they know they can beat Utah, but not much else above above that line do they know they can beat right now. Though they have taken both Michigan State and Ohio State, 2 of the top teams, literally 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, depending on point differential, because Boise State and Michigan State have the same record. They've taken them to the end, and they can do it again.
And you talk about building an organization. It's going to be really important to get Orange kind of that on-stage experience over at Vegas. So it's going to be just interesting to see as we kind of build out the program, as the program ends up keeping building, getting Drago and Monster that experience versus those top teams is going to be crucial as this program kind of proceeds and looks forward into the future.
Yeah, just because of the nature of Valorant, obviously they're a bit more global, the lands. There's not a lot of collegiate experience, a lot of experienced collegiate lands. So Vegas is very big for them, even in a starting role. They know they're not going to win it all this year. Maybe they think they can, which I think is not absurd. You took the top team in the league to Game 3, but you have to understand at a certain point, what are you going to do? That being said, we do have our maps in. If you heard them from our producer, I did not.
I believe it. I heard Abyss.
I heard Abyss was 2, and I heard Abyss was 3. I heard Bind was 2. Corrode was 1. Thank you very much, Rayshawn. That is our TD Tonight. Shout out to our prod staff. Sometimes the audio just doesn't sound great through our headsets because it gets really loud in there sometimes. Last week or 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago maybe, I don't know what week it was, but they were doing Marvel Rivals alts. They were just screaming Marvel Rivals alts very loudly to the point where I didn't know if Stream could hear it, but I could hear it and I was very lost as to what was going on. But they're a rowdy bunch. They're very good. They're very talented. They put on this lovely display that you see below us. They are very good, and we appreciate them a lot.
Of course. And, you've seen Syracuse a lot, Carson, so kind of talk about in map number 1 on Corrode, what are Syracuse going to be able to execute on that map?
So I talked to you a little earlier about this.
Just a little bit,
They like Corrode.
Yeah.
They do. They think Corrode is a map they can win on. I don't disagree with that. They've played well on Corrode sometimes. But lifetime and 3 matches in the PEC, they have won 6 total rounds on Corrode, which means they have given up 39 rounds on Corrode. And if you are an expert, or not, you can tell that that's not a great record, but this team has the ability, especially today against Nebraska, to really play their game. Nebraska is 1-11. They've really struggled all around. I believe the only team they've beat is Baylor because their matchup kind of worked out for them. Baylor's a very team kill or team deathmatch kind of team. Not team kill. You can't do that in Valorant. But very solid team overall when they're playing right. But Nebraska needs to find a way to beat the Syracuse squad, and Syracuse needs to find a way to take Corrode and play it the way they want to play it. They struggled last time with a Waylay getting a lot of value. They couldn't find any at a certain point, so I'd like to see them kind of go to their roots here, go back to double duelist, but play it pretty passively on defense.
And you talk about with Corrode, it's one of those maps that's really, really high pick rate. So it's one of those maps that a team has to work through these struggles. Even if you've only won 6 rounds, at the end of the day, you're going to see it at Vegas anyway. So it's one of those things where you have to work through the struggles. You have to figure out how your team can execute. And it's one of those things where Syracuse is a non-traditional. They don't play the standard meta. So it's one of those things about figuring out what do you do well on this map and kind of stringing together rounds. Because at the end of the day, we're going to see this map more and more as the kind of meta develops. So it's interesting to see what Syracuse can kind of put in as they face Corrode on map number 1.
Yeah, and they're typically a double duelist team, and I don't think I want to see that on Corrode. Corrode is a very wallbang heavy map. Everything is just about kind of, I don't know what the word would be. Everything is soft walls. Everything is soft walls. That's the word. But everything is soft walls, and it's a difficulty to really find your momentum there when you don't have solid defense. The Orange have started out on defense every single time. They will start out on defense this time. I have to wonder at a certain point, you need to find a way to put your team together and understand what your strengths are. And right now, your strengths have to be on this defensive side. You know you can play a Sova well. Pretz obviously is probably going to play duelist, but it shouldn't hurt if you want to have an aggressive duelist. Wouldn't hurt to have Mo Boogie in that spot. It really would be better to have Pretz maybe as a Sova, but obviously you have Monster who can play Sova, you have Drago who can play Sova, the freshmen who have done a very good job. You want to find a way to incorporate them, and I think right now is the time. Maybe play both, maybe get Mobugi out of it, just because it's not a great map for initiators, and Mobugi's been playing a lot of initiators, Sentinel. He can play more, but you want to specialize. If you're going to have freshmen who specialize in this, you want to let them use it here.
Yeah, and with this, as we've talked about the Syracuse roster, one of the players that we haven't mentioned is Owen. And you've kind of talked about it before the game. We were talking about it and how this team kind of structures out. Owen's one of those players that kind of raises the floor when he joins. He's a really good player, one of those players that's able to hit shots as much as possible. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how he's able to kind of raise the floor for this team. Because, again, a young squad that's developing, and when you add a player like Owen, it just kind of raises the floor and kind of, high tide raises all ships.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I mean, you get to a certain level when you're with Owen, and the big thing you're looking for there is somebody who can raise your team's performance, who can sit there and make your team better. Owen does that in a variety of ways. I think a lot of it comes in the mental, having somebody who's reliable. Owen was studying last semester in Italy. So this Orange team is better, and that is not up for debate. They have played far better. They took 2 of the top teams all the way to the end, and while Michigan State may have lost 4 players, they're still not a bad team. They're getting better every day. They lost 4 players to graduation. They have 4 freshmen and a sophomore on their team. Completely absurd team makeup, especially for how good they're doing, but they'll probably own the PEC for the next 3 years after this one. Either way, still a very good team, and they brought them to the end. The Syracuse squad has the ability to win these kind of games, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them go on a run. They're one of the most slept-on teams in the Power Esports Conference, and I don't blame people for that. They've really struggled in their gunplay. They've really done a lot of that. But Owen provides an element that you're seeing when they force these game threes just about every week that they haven't had. The ability to win in the clutch.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see this map number 1, especially on Corrode, because we talk about it. It's one of those teams that can go on a run, so these are kind of the maps that you need to be able to win, especially against a team like University of Nebraska that have struggled to start off the game, or to start off the Power Esports Conference at a 1-11 record. One of those teams where when you are a team that is kind of on the rise, you have to be able to beat some of the lower ranked teams to kind of get that momentum, get that confidence, say, okay, guys, we can take care of business. Now let's try to make a run and kind of upset those top contenders.
Yeah, and for Nebraska today, it's going to be all about composition. How do we play well? But the Orange, obviously, this is a bit more of a home-sided broadcast. You're live on QC Sports. The Orange have to find a way on this defensive side to win. Corrode is a defensive-sided map. If you look at the kind of angles at Corrode, it is literally 100% ego peeking. That is the entire map. There is no way to look around it. You have to ego peek to win. There is no advantage you can get. There is no flanks. It is purely 3 lanes, and you are going to play it like it's League of Legends, and you will go and find somebody, and you have to go harvest them for materials, unfortunately. And the Orange have been harvested on this defensive side, for lack of a better term. Util usage hasn't been great in Corrode. They have a good opportunity to set themselves up, though, gain some momentum on this map, and it's all going to be in that first half.
And Carson, you've talked about, again, I love the League of Legends metaphor. I'm a big League fan myself.
I literally have never played League.
I love League of Legends. I've played.
I know there's lanes.
I think I've played more League of Legends than anyone here combined, I would say. A lot of my childhood spent playing League of Legends.
Yeah,
but
I mean, there's the whole, you have about a few years on a few of us, but
just a couple years. But, kind of talking back about where Syracuse is trying to build, going into this map number 1, what do you want to see? So if you are the Syracuse coach right up there in their headset saying, okay, guys, we have map number 1 on Corrode. We've only won 6 rounds. What do we want to do now?
If I'm the coach external, what I'm going to say to him is say, look, guys, I know we like double duelist, but that can't happen today. And lo and behold, unless Mobugi plays the duelist here, I actually don't hate this at all. Pretz is off the duelist, and that's a big thing for me. Pretz is very good at playing everywhere. We mentioned that him playing duelist these first 2 games has been the first time that he's ever played duelist, but was the last position in Valorant that he needed to play to complete his Infinity Gauntlet of the team. But this is what I want to see. When you are going to play duelist, you let the right guys play duelist, and that is Mobugi and Stop. You have the controllers in Owen and Drago with Viper and Omen, and then you have Pretz on a very, very good role right there, where he's going to be able to entirely, with haunts and things like that, he's going to be a monster. And not to say the guy on the bench isn't the freshman monster, but Pretz is going to be very hard to deal with because he has the ability to play duelist. He is a great gun player. He's got the highest KD on this team, and it is in the top 10 for KD in the entire conference. He is good enough to play off Duelist and still have the same impact.
Yeah, and you talk about Pretz as kind of a leader of this team, especially when it comes to the in-game comms in terms of just kind of making sure that the squad is ready and kind of being able to start off strong. So especially on this map number 1 on Corrode, where they have kind of struggled, he's taking that role and that kind of weight of saying, okay, I will play off role, I will play something that I'm good at, but being able to kind of get stuff going while we get Maboogie a little bit more comfortable on the Duelist, stomp on the Duelist as well, and kind of be able to play our game.
Yeah, and obviously with Pretz on the initiator role, it's going to be, like, that's the big thing. The captain is going to be able to fight, I think, properly for this team. I'm very excited to see where this goes. This team has looked a lot better with the double Duelist, and the big thing now is that we jump back into it, and they're going to have a pretty good section.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see kind of what Nebraska ends up doing as well. They are also running a very similar composition to Syracuse as well. They are going to be starting on the offense, so it's going to be interesting to see how Syracuse start off strong on this defense side, being able to kind of take control and kind of play their game, especially on a map they've struggled with.
Yeah, and obviously, you guys can't see it just yet. We're ending the bye phase here on round 1. It'll be pistol round, which I like to say is the having fun competition. And we'll see who can have more fun. Syracuse has been pretty bad in those last 2 weeks in the pistol rounds, but I don't know if I can really credit it to much more of. You're playing very good talent, essentially. But Syracuse takes on the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Starting now, the Cornhuskers going to try and farm their field. Stop backs up once again.
Toxins going up.
Been very good on this Euro roll on the teleports. Drago again going to push forward here into this middle section.
Looks like the Cornhuskers are stacked over onto the B side. They're going to be pushing back just a little bit, trying to find some sort of kind of initial pick to get some sort of control over mid. You see Drago just kind of sitting on the B side, trying to see if anything kind of ends up happening.
Maboogie and Pretz are in mid, which is something they haven't been doing, but I think part of the reason they've really been struggling, they haven't had mid control, which is very important on a map like this. You can run either A or B way tighter than you can on any other map. If you have mid control and the Orange haven't been contesting it, and now they finally are. It's been revision to strategy here against Nebraska. Pretz will peek, but the wall from the controller Drago helps out there, and we avert crisis once again. They head back towards B site, and the slow chess match continues with no more than 30 damage to one player, but here they go, right into it. Drago here on this right side, backs up. There's a lot of people coming in. Knows the waylays there on the left. Peeks back into elbow. Back once more. Gets the shot off with the shorty, but gets some damage away. Backs off. Spike goes down, and the team will have some time to recuperate. It's a 5-on-5 retake. Maboogie trying to get a shot off. Damage on 3 of the 5 Cornhuskers. Pushing forward again with Maboogie will be that Yoru. Forward again. Maboogie gets a headshot. 2 for the Huskers. One more for Drago and another for Owen. Back to a 2-on-2. One standing on Spike. It's Kanki, and they get rid of Maboogie. A 1-on-1. And Kanki wins. The Ghost at distance will beat the Classic just about every time. And Owen goes down. And the Huskers have their first round.
And really good play overall from the Huskers, being able to kind of take control, especially on those trade kills as they got onto the B site. Again, it was one of those situations where right now there was only Drago covering the B site when all of the util ended up going onto the B site. It was just too much for him to be able to hold good ground from the side of the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, and what I saw I liked from the Orange, obviously pistol round is like here nor there. Like sometimes you win, sometimes you lose it, even against a team that you think is worse of. Obviously, if you look at the top right, you'll see that Corrode and Bind were picks from pretty much a counter pick against Syracuse game 1 from Nebraska, and then game 2 was a pick that the Orange liked themselves. They've protected Bind every time, played it every time on map 2, and there's a reason for it. We'll talk about it later, though. Prowler out from Pretz, trying to get more information. He does. It's not the correct information, but they believe there's nobody at that mid, so they'll load A with the gun advantage towards the UNL side.
And you talk about it, after you do lose that pistol round, it is really hard to kind of get contested. And they have lost pressure over mid as Pretz takes down Yarok, but Yarok takes down Maboogie as well.
I like that pick there. You get a Spectre out of it, and as well as an Alt Orb. Keeps your team forward, but mid control here as Drago is left to kind of defend elbow in B entirely by themselves. They hear him on. Spike will come down very slowly. Waylay comes up and says, oh, maybe I don't want to be up there. And backs up once again.
Spike planted.
Spike is again planted for the side of the Cornhuskers. Again, Drago does know something's there, but he's blinded now. Not going to be able to take control over this corridor. Again, looks like Syracuse is approaching slowly from the side of the T-spawn. Gonna try to get something down, but again, disadvantage when it comes to guns. Reavage as well as Sethi. Watching his corner. Ooh, big shot from Pretz to take out Kaneki, but Sethi trades. Stomp and Drago do go down.
The 2-on-3, Orange have the disadvantage without guns. Last two players do have them, though. It's a Spectre for both. Owen able to get one, but both Pretz and Owen fall down to the two members of the Corn Squad, as their tag is rightfully called.
Good trades overall from the Cornhuskers. I've liked how they've been able to respond in a lot of these kind of crossfire scenarios as well. Again, as we see the replay, Drago tries to get the kill off again. Kaneki is taken down, but they get traded immediately. Again, Owen takes out Geomagics, but it just wasn't enough. Good round from the Cornhusker, but now weapons and util available for the side of SU.
3 headshots for Drago that do not go through anybody other than his teammate, unfortunately, which I believe does stop the projectile. So pretty rough one there, but immediately they're going to clash right off rip. They have the gun advantage now because they've fully bought. Yayurak goes down for that other side. As they'll back up here. Shots going through that middle sector there. Nobody there. Now, as Nebraska Lincoln has backed off, Cornhuskers know what's good for them in terms of peeking angles of guns fights. They pretty much can't win if you can't see anyone else. Prowler will go out for Pretz. Did not go the way he wanted it to. Got stuck on that wall right there.
Carson, you've talked about kind of the importance of this mid control, and it's been a good job by SU being able to kind of utilize especially those initial peaks to get some sort of mid control, as well as using Omen's smokes to kind of have some sort of control, so that the Cornhuskers, especially when it comes to their pushes, are very delayed into the time clock of the round.
Yeah, and Omen, oh gosh, every time I say Owen, it's just Owen. It's his name, so it doesn't really matter each way I go because it's still right. But Owen does a good job there of keeping those smokes alive at that middle sector. They've previously gone with the Viper bubble that hasn't really worked out. It didn't work out against Michigan State, didn't work out against Ohio State. I mean, we've seen these two maps for the first two games every single time because everybody likes Corrode, and Syracuse bans the maps everyone else likes, so no Haven, unfortunately. We like Haven. Orange do not.
Tries to blind. Again, util usage already onto site. Geomagic takes out Owen immediately as he tries to peek. Again, Kaneki takes out Drago as well, and this is going to be B-site for the side of the Cornhuskers.
Goodness gracious, a very good start for the Cornhuskers, and they'll have some guns without needing to buy. Pushing forward, Yoru by himself at Stomp. Didn't need to swing alone, but it was still a one-on-one. Woody Seth there. Okay, gets rid of one for Nebraska. Now a 2-on-4. Orange have the number disadvantage. Pick one alone. It'll be Pretz who goes down to their Waylay Reavage. And another shot from Mobugi gets rid of one. They'll look for more. Woody Seth knows time is running out. Will back up. Doesn't want to lose anything they've gained. But the Orange will opt to save this gun here. They don't really want to, use it for no reason. They might find one here as Yoru's getting pretty contentious moving back up. No. Yeoman's chasing behind them, though, but it did get caught by the bomb. Geomagic doesn't move far enough, and that's a big loss. Geomagic is one of those players who had a gun. Now Nebraska has to buy, but the Orange pretty much have to win this to save their economy.
Yeah, another round for the side of the Cornhuskers, and one of the things I want to mention to you, Carson, is the fact that especially in the B-arch, B-elbow area, it feels like SU is not approaching that kind of corner appropriately. It's one of those single peak situations, and it feels like Woody Sethi's always been there.
Yeah, and the Orange have done a very good job generally with their economy. You bought at the right times, but unfortunately sometimes you just lose. Nebraska really playing well. 1-11 team, but obviously one to look out for this Orange squad who haven't exactly been at that caliber of the teams above them, and done a very good job for this Lincoln squad who are now sitting and waiting pretty much for the Orange to make a decision on where they're going to stand. And the Orange have been a little bit too divisive to start this one out. Pretz will push forward towards the bottom of mid, sees one, calls it, but it's going to be a lot of silence moving forward. Good shot from Pretz, the Sheriff. The captain gets rid of one, but it's a trade in the other half. Mobugi on the waylay goes down to Woody Seth. Forward again. Owen going to watch as the smoke goes by. Throws out his own smoke as a retaliation of sorts. He backs off into this corner. Flash comes in. A push will come through. Waylay on this other end. One will have to turn around, whether it's Stomp or Owen. Bad news either way. Here comes Geomagic. Saw one through the wall. They shoot him through it with that Sheriff. Able to get damage onto two, but nobody got. Woody Seth gets his third kill. Has been doing a fantastic job as Drago left on a 1-on-3, trying to find a way to get anything. It's a pretty good Viper smoke and nearly got 3 moments away from that, but poor timing. A very good job by the freshman to kind of try and recuperate that, but just couldn't in time.
Yeah, really good try from Drago trying to approach onto that A site. It was just one of those situations where, again, SU, it doesn't seem very coordinated, especially as they're approaching onto some of these retake angles. And good job by, I will say I did enjoy the fact that SU tried something a little bit more different, a little bit more of an aggressive approach on the defense side, being able to kind of push up into mid as well as into T-spawn, but they just weren't able to get enough. Again, Mabugu did go down really early into that round, so that kind of immediate duelist, that immediate kind of action and power for the SU squad was taken away immediately.
Yeah, and obviously we talk about the initiator role being an initiator combat-wise, but a lot of it can be defense, and our initiators here do a very good job of keeping them off-site with damage penalties, and you want to see that a little bit more, not for Omen. Omen is blindness penalties, but a lot of them have their own niche, and the Orange aren't playing to it, I don't think, as that well right now. There's Mabugi getting very aggressive early, and that's what he's been great at all season when he's been playing Duelist, going for the ult point, though, and somehow makes it out. Pretty scathed, not unscathed. A lot of the help was the operator from Stomp. Woody Seth might peek here. I think took a moment there to say maybe not an op peek is a good idea for me as Owen goes down in the other end. Pretz barely avoids. You should stop able to get Woody Seth on the other end. Pretz standing there, gets shot through the smoke. They don't know that, though.
Really good util usage. Pretz takes out Geomac. Spike carrier is down for the side of the Cornhuskers, so SU does have an advantage as A-Site just has bomb right on top of it.
It's a very good start for the Orange, and Yahi Rock just saw the foot of Drago peek out of the Omen smoke. Now it's Pretz basically taking a 1-on-2. They just saw one. Pretz knows there's another there, waiting on time. Didn't shoot through the box, going for the other one, and a poor decision from Yairok keeps Pretz alive. Now at a 1-on-2, but poor timing. Tried to fix the reload and couldn't do it. But here comes Stomp pushing through with the operator. Takes some damage. Shields will recharge. Backing up again. 10 seconds. Has the advantage. Classic pistol. Spike coming down. Right clicks one. Runs away. Knows that the time has to go. Coming back. Trying to do the same thing. But didn't get aggressive enough. Knew that they had to plant. They got it off just in time. But here comes Divergent Paths. It misses Stomp, though. There will be no repercussions for them. Forward, the Yoru hologram, or Yoru Fake goes over to the right, the flash. Here comes the actual flash, and wow. Well timed by Revage, whether they weren't full flashed or something. They did a very good job timing that right.
I loved the way that Pretz kind of played that round, especially just kind of in that really, rock and hard play situation for the side of Pretz. He tried to make those shots, he just wasn't able to kind of deal with the crossfire angles. Good job from the side of SU. Again, they try to get something done, but it feels like right now when it comes to the gunplay, it's just going to the side of the Cornhuskers, and they've been hitting their shots. Really good play from the side of the Waylay as well.
Yeah, their Waylay has done a fantastic job in these clutch situations, and Owen played that right and just lost the peak, unfortunately. Had an operator, and you're going to lose it. But going to be Dimensional Drift out here from Woody Seth. Off rip to get information on B, which there is nobody there. Yoru will teleport over, but will teleport in time to, I guess, get there to watch something. It doesn't really matter much at this point. He'll have to wait for his team either way. 2 points away from Alt. Gets that flash from one, and he does not know that Revage is in his crosshairs. They move forward again. Stomp going to try and peek, as well as Owen on that other site, or other side of sight, excuse me, towards the link at B. From mid, forward again. They get stuck nearly in a divergent pass. It's their divergent pass. Forward again. They miss 2 shots. Drago and Stomp able to get 2. Revage gets 2. Pretz 2, and Stop the last. Orange have their first round. Finally, they take a deep breath and are very lucky and grateful to have gotten that one off at this time.
Really good retake from the side of SU. Again, it was one of those situations where they had to, they stacked onto A-side because they didn't have enough of the weapons to kind of contest. They got a really good play from Pretz. They got a really good play as well from the Viper as well. So really good play from SU to kind of be able to take the retake. And you kind of have to be able to string some of these rounds. Again, we've talked about it. SU has struggled on Corrode. They've only won 6 rounds. Now we're at 7. You know what's better than 6? 7.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2 unfortunate number placements there will certainly, as time goes on, luckily that won't be as big of a thing. But yeah, it's going to be a lot in this rest of this game. They're down 1-5. It's going to come a lot in the captain, Pretz. So we'll take a moment to look at here, though. His lights might be off. They're definitely off. I mean, like, that is fairly absurdly dark in that room right there. But he doesn't have his lights on, but that doesn't mean he isn't a shining bright light of this team. Presley Zhang from Palo Alto, California. He's the senior captain of this squad, an applied data analytics major who will need to crunch the numbers a bit here to figure out how Syracuse can win this. And Unfortunately, the answer is always PRETZ. He has to find a way to put himself back into gear to really carry this team, because right now, unfortunately, you don't want to carry your team, but they need you. They need you to play like they know you can, especially against a team like Nebraska where you played so well earlier this season. Orange got a win off Nebraska. It's fairly possible, and I think this Orange squad believes in him. And they need to find a way to really use it to their advantage and use everything they have at their advantage, such as 4 alts, which I believe we will see here, but they've had a really bad habit of hanging on to them a little bit too long.
And it's one of those situations where SU and Pretz overall has been playing really well, especially in some of these rounds. He's just been kind of put in a really rough spot. But again, really aggressive from the side of the Cornhuskers as they approach onto this A site right now. A lot of util being used. Drago has ending up backing up as well. Flashbang goes out. Big kill from Drago, takes out Reavage. But again, ultimate, Drago takes out 2, Drago takes out 3, Pretz takes out Geomagic as well. 3-on-1 situation for SU, but Owen takes out Yarok. Big round for the SU Orange.
A trifecta for the young freshman helps them out. Goodness gracious, what a good job with a little look back at this one. Flash comes out, Drago gets one, Reavage sees one behind the box and gets them. Woody Seth goes down in the third through a box. It's Kinky. A very good job from Drago. Hanging on to that B-side has been pretty much the lone defender wherever he's been, and there's a reason. He has the ability and the potential to turn the tide very rapidly, and, you know, that's what we just saw.
It's one of those players where, again, this is going to be kind of the future of the SU Overwatch franchise, so really excited. Overwatch.
Sorry, I had to get you there. Had to get you there.
The SU Valorant franchise. So it's one of those situations where you kind of really like to see a young player execute in a really tight situation like this, because the Cornhuskers were really aggressive. Big shot from the Blue. He takes out Woody Seth. Stomp takes out Kaneki as well. 2 picks in mid for the side of SU.
Wow, it feels like they've really gotten their stride here, and immediately it's a 3-on-5 for Nebraska, who are now at a disadvantage, and the Orange still haven't used an alt. Keep that in mind. They've suddenly collected 2 rounds, without using a single alt so far other than Mobugi's. Good shot there from Yahirok, as Drago will get caught into the slow. Wow! Just sits there and unloads the mag, gets rid of 2. They walk in together and get collateraled through the chest of one into the head of the Omen. 48 seconds remain, 3-on-1, Much thanks to Drago, who knows there's another one around, but is a little bit paranoid for obvious reasons.
These are those rounds that SU do need to win. Again, execute the 3-on-1 crossfire angles really well. Again, Reavage takes out Drago. He went for the play, wasn't enough. Again, close for the side of the Cornhuskers. Ooh, this is getting really tight, Carson.
It is not often that you survive 4 peaks in Valorant, but Reeves just has. Was clutch earlier on a 1-on-3 and manages to do it. Dash forward, Mabuki says, I'm going to back up here, and wow, Reavage watch Stomp peek, trying to get rid of them, but another situation similar like last time, almost identical in terms of where they are. Mobuki jumps into it, has basically 1 shot to make it count, and he does! Mobuki, goodness gracious! He gets the 3rd round in the row for the Orange with 1 shot available. He empties the tank.
And we talked about it. Mabugi was struggling with those initiators, struggling with those sentinels, but it's such a big play right there. Again, caught in the diversion path, had 1 shot, 1 kill. Big round for SU on round number 8.
Just a spectacular round from him. He gets 1 at the start, and he eventually finishes it, but a lot of it came in that double kill from Drago on the same bullet. Mobugi there, spectacular. With the hindered effect going on him from the divergent pass from the other waylay, he does a great job to stand in and just win. When all things going wrong, you need a guy who can stand and win, and it's exactly what Mobugi did. Now 3-5. Orange suddenly are back in this game, and a tie is not unreasonable for this halftime with the momentum in their way, and the fact that it's going to be another forced round for some of these members of this Lincoln squad.
A little bit different from the Cornhuskers. They're playing a lot of members on the mid. Again, the Prowl does catch out 1, so it's going to be one of those situations where SU has some information about where the Cornhuskers are sitting. Again, 2 members for the University of Nebraska sitting around mid as well. Again, a lot of util being used a little bit on the A side, but again, I like the way that SU is playing. They're playing aggressive on the B side, trying to get some information to see where University of Nebraska are trying to go.
Cornhuskers here had their crops really shucked at this point. Cornhuskers Huskers need to find a way to put themselves back together. There's a good trade on the other end. Operator gets rid of Kanki. They were in completely different spots. Drago gets rid of Woody Seth, but Drago goes down. It's a trade for Revich, who is the odd one out and survives. Geomagic's going to plant here for this Nebraska squad. A good job to see that. 4 spikes and thorns went out. 2 go away for the thorns of Rock. As Magics will plant with 30 seconds remaining, and it's a 3-on-3 retake. I'd like to see the Orange use an ult here, and there's one. Here comes Dimensional Drift. But there is the ult there from their side. Mobugi gets rid of another one, and shorty gameplay. Mobugi is alive and didn't go down.
What?
He shot Pretz behind him and just missed every shot on Mobugi. Great target analysis, really good target prioritization. The guy jumping at you with a shorty's already shot both bullets, so you're going to go ahead and shot the guy behind him. But unfortunately stopped with Dimensional Drift. Did a very good job, got behind him, and got a headshot off. Orange have 4 in a row after Nebraska's 5. They're 1 away from tying it.
Really good round for the side of SU, and it's, again, as we look at these highlights, good retake position, but again, Mabugi's kind of the player there, gets the 2 shots in the shorty and just kind of is juking around until Stomp can help him out and takes out Yarok. Big round for the side of SU, one of those situations where, again, SU started off really slow on Corrode again, but 4 rounds together, Carson, they might be close to tying their kind of season average on this map.
And Nebraska's going to take a timeout here as I'm going to look a little bit over to your screen because you've got the economy on it. It'll be the second save for Nebraska in this 4-round streak for the Orange. Forced by 2 members will have a Vandal. Only one of them will be able to full buy with a full shield, but the rest of them will have to force buy. And it's really interesting at this point because now the Orange suddenly have these Huskers on their heels. They have to find a way to win on the defense, and that's exactly what they've done. They started off extremely poorly, could not play together, and now you're seeing plays like that where Mobugi is just jumping around knowing there's a guy behind that as long as he can rattle his keys long enough, then the guy behind will win the fight.
One of the players I do want to highlight, and kind of the strategy that I do like that the SU is doing, is the way that they're playing onto B-site. This past round, they had Stomp onto B-side just by himself with the operator. They kind of realized that the Cornhuskers don't really actually stack a lot of members into B-side. They haven't played B for a lot of these rounds. Again, I might be caster cursing them as Cornhuskers are sending a lot of members. Ultimate used immediately from the side of SU.
I like that because at some point they know that, guys, we haven't been on B in 5 rounds. And we haven't won in 5 rounds. And there we are. They're in round 4 here of this losing streak. And they dodge in. No, there's one there. Health obviously going down, but Woody Seth gets one. However, there is more right here to back them up. It'll be a matter of whether they can get there in time or not. B-side is relatively clear. 4 Huskers will get on. It is a 4-on-5.
SU struggled to kind of retake site anytime that the Cornhuskers have captured B. Again, Woody Seth goes down, and takes out 1. He's going to be scared to peek right here. Again, these corners on the side of Corrode are really difficult to approach.
Divergent paths from Mobugi will go out. It should catch 2. As he'll be convergent as well. They'll be hindered forward again with the double flash, essentially. As Pretz gets rid of 1, 2. The captain with 3! And maybe a 4th. Forward there. Irock gets rid of Owen, but they're trying to get the last. Pretz, 4. Jumping right click with the classic goodness gracious, and the captain brings it with a 4K to round 10 tied.
Captain's always there for his crew, and again, a great round from the side of Pretz. The person I really want to shout out, Stomp, got a massive flash as they approached onto site. Good round for the side of SU, and again, 5 rounds straight. It was one of those situations where the Cornhuskers most likely realized, we've lost 4 rounds. Let's go on to B site. Good ulti usage immediately by Drago to kind of dissuade the initial push. SU grouped onto site immediately, and great round from Pretz to kind of carry his team as the captain for the SU squad.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an external call. I didn't know there's fidget spinners in this game. Hi, Pretz.
I did not either.
I'm not in the shop enough, to be honest with you.
Not a night market connoisseur.
No, I am not. Mobugi makes a good choice there. Oops, sorry. We just like put our hands on top of each other, kind of like a Hallmark movie. Round 11, and the Orange have won 5 in a row, folks. They have done a very good job here on this defensive side of Corrode. If they win this, they will double their total ever in lifetime wins in the PEC on Corrode. There's a trade over at mid and B site. Well, no, it was just mid twice, excuse me. They got 1, and then they went down. It's going to be Dimensional Drift from their Nebraska side. Our Orange can't see that if you're curious. Owen will have a Yoru behind him. He heard it, though. He does some damage, but not enough. Mabugi able to get 1, 2.
Spike
Because now there's just the Yoru by himself, and Spike is down in the lower section of mid. Flashes himself, but still a good opportunity. Seth waiting there as Mabugi times it right. Has the dash ready, thinking about it, but Stomp about to be in a scary situation and nearly gets a shot off can't in time. It's Kanki who gets rid of Stomp and picks up
30 seconds
that
left.
spike. 30 seconds will essentially mean they have to make a decision in the next 5 here, and I would be remiss to say it won't be mid to B. They've done a very good job at B so far, and the Orange have struggled to retake, and it will technically be clear. There is a wall right there, and the Viper is more into B main.
Let's see if Drago can get
10
something
seconds
done.
left.
Again, the wall does go down. Kaneki and Woody Seth again covering right now. Wall goes down. Kaneki on the site. Big kill by Drago. Takes out one. Spike is planted though. Woody peeks,
Wow.
but taken out by Drago. Big round for the side of SU. They're going to be able to defuse. They should give it over to Mabugi. And again, big round for SU, and they've matched their round wins on Corrode already. Big map number 1 for the side of SU.
They guarantee a tie at halftime, something they haven't done on Corrode ever in this conference. But yeah, 6-5, and the Orange have got 6 in a row now. How about that? Very good job by Mabugi to really turn the tide at mid, waste some more time, and can't keep plants. Drago makes a great play moving forward, knowing that he does have something in his way between him and Seth, but Seth just peeks the wrong way. Doesn't expect the Viper who he watched walk over there be there, and that's just a poor decision from the Huskers, as now they are down for the first time tonight as we reach round 12. The last round before halftime, everybody will full buy. Nebraska will have a full economy.
I like the strategy from SU, again, playing aggressively on this B side. A lot of util already being used.
Saw the arm.
Mabugi takes out Kaneki, goes back again, big kill, and it's going to dissuade the push again for B. Woo! Drago takes out Reavage as well. SU is on a roll.
Very good job. Some hot hands as it's been in 6 rounds in a row. Trying to make it another. Pretz gets one and turns the other one into a flash despite killing one, but Drago another one. Geomagics, they've got him pincered here in a panini press right now as they're just getting turned into a toasted ham and cheese. The last one right there, Yairok gets one in the form of Drago, but comes the haunt. It is destroyed. Another one on the right side trying to pinpoint where they are through the smoke. He gets him. Pretz, the captain that started it, finishes the first half, and they have a lead despite going down 5-0 to start it.
Really good rounds by the side of SU, and I really like how they've been playing. Again, Pretz has been rock solid for this team. He's been making some big plays. Again, you see Drago taking out Reavage, who was so big for the side of the Cornhuskers in those first couple rounds. Pretz again takes out Sethi as well. Big rounds from everyone. Pretz has been rock solid, but the team has really showed up. I've been really liking the way that Mabugi's been playing a lot of these one-on-one fights, and Drago has been rock solid, especially on a lot of those retakes.
Yeah, I can't get over how funny it is to me that Pretz killed a Yoru, saw the other Yoru, and was like, yeah, that's a guy. But obviously in the heat of the moment, our side is 2020. As much as we can see, we see all of it in a way different way, a way less intense way that I don't envy them, I'll be honest. I'm much more relaxed than actually playing Valorant out there. As Prowler will expire, Pretz won't get a massive amount of information. There is one, Woody Seth, we barely nearly got. One will go up and it'll be a wall. Very intelligent move from Nebraska there.
It's interesting to see how SU does approach now that they are on offense. Again, Nebraska really favored that B side. They really like to get some sort of mid control and go on to B. They struggled when they went over to the A side just because they just couldn't get one of those crossfire angles, and SU was able to execute, especially in the arch and elbow area. So I'm interested to see what SU likes to do. Again, you talk about it with pistol rounds. Sometimes they're just kind of a coin flip. So interested to see if, if SU can kind of start off strong on offense.
Momentum does matter, though. Stomp forward. Going to see one, saw the shoulder of one, and they will get them with the help of the team. Kaneki goes down. Forward again. Pretz through the smoke, but the classic gets rid of Reavage, and they have a spike down in a pistol round, which you don't see too often. Even less do you see a detonation, so we'll see how that plays. But the Orange will get way less aggressive on this round because they know, obviously, that they have time and, space and a place to be. Owen forward with the other teammates beside him, or a very advantageous position. There goes Mabugi, gets one of Geomagics. Yairok goes down, and Woody Seth's able to collect one in the form of Drago to prevent a flawless, but cannot prevent the round win. The Orange win total moves to 8 in a row.
really clean round from the Orange. Again, one of those situations where Drago's always going to be there, Pretz is always going to be there, but good round from Stomp to be able to kind of make a play, especially on the initial gunfight. So good round. Again, we talk about momentum, especially having the ability to now buy these SMGs as well as these shotguns is going to really help, and see if they can kind of roll on to 8-0 into 9.
We haven't seen it in quite some time, but our friend Mobuki is carrying something that we hold very treasured and dear. It's a Mobucky. Pedro del Sol. Skin forward again. He'll dash in. Has an opportunity to make some serious noise. They'll see one. Forward again. Oh, he's going to just take this. Hindered. Goes forward with another team and gets one. They pinch together. Goodness gracious. Stomp walks and shoots into one. Mobuki takes out the other with a single shot. And you love to see this guy, to our observers, stay on this. I want to see how this one goes. Forward again! He's got one more! Oh! Nearly 4! Goodness gracious, as Owen finishes it off! Wow!
I see why you gave him that name, Mobucky. What a round from the side of SU. Again, one of those situations where he was hindered, but really good round overall. Mobucky, J-Hone Yo from Syracuse, New York, esports communication and management major, makes a big play. Again, we talk about it. He's been one of those players that's been on this roster for a little bit now, right, Carson? And it's one of those things where you gotta have to be able to show up. Again, he switched over, was struggling on the Sentinels, struggling on the Initiators, goes back to Duelist and is making a big play as SU take 2 rounds on offense.
I do want to clarify that he's not from Syracuse.
Nope.
I do not know where he's from, but I do know he's not from Syracuse.
Got you.
He's a Overwatch player and a coach here as well for the Overwatch team right now, but also, you know, played some Valorant on the side and has a particular flavor for Duelists and Buckies. They go down 1. It's Stomp who gets the first one. Pretz is able to collect one, but just didn't know Woody Seth was there. They have, unfortunately, a better Phantom at that point, and they just get rid of one. It'll be Owen with the Spectre kind of left up to push forward, as well as 2 others on the other side. Drago with the Spectre, going to move forward on this left side. Heard one there, nearly got it, but in the second round, you're tending to have a worse gunplay, and that's currently affecting them here. Vandal's just letting Nebraska be aggressive as Mobuki jumps back.
It's one of those situations where, again, these rounds are really close, especially with these shots. Geomagics is single-handedly holding onto this B site. So, again, SU's going to push on. Owen takes out Geomagics. Spike is going to be planted, but the rest of the Cornhuskers are slowly approaching onto site. SU see if they can kind of play this post-plant situation.
Saw the shoulder, going to maybe get another shot. He does. Good shots from Mobuki. A very good shoulder peek there to get rid of Woody Seth. Owen forward, watching one with the Spectre, trying to make noise. The other end, here comes their Waylay, who does a good hinder in the middle there. Mobuki able to get K anyway. Forward again, it's going to be a 1-on-2, and goodness gracious, what a clutch. 2-on-4 to a 2-0 win. Wow, the Orange go 10 in a row now.
I love the team play from the Orange right now. I think that they're playing really well, especially when it comes to a lot of these crossfire situations. We even had it in the last round where, again, Mobuki got hindered on his Bucky. He gets caught out, and again, we see Mobuki taking these shots on the Seppi. He's kind of, I don't know, coming alive as a player right now, especially when it comes to hitting these shots. And these firefights are really close, and we talk about it with Corrode. The walls are paper thin, and he's shooting right through them.
Yeah, what I was saying earlier about Mobuki on the Duelist role is you're going to get more value out of Mobuki there, and I like that External has decided to place him there as Mobuki gets flashed. I'm not sure the util usage there by Woody Seth. I don't know what that gains. You're obviously peeking, but you're not peeking enough to make a flash like that matter in every sense. They do know there's someone there now, and that's all it's kind of done. Mobuki thinks about his convergent paths. He'll decide he's not going to. They'll pick up the alt orb and maybe take a moment to back off. Spike is down. They just left it in a lobby. Drago nearly gets caught there by Kaneki. Has Revage in the other Revage in the other end. Does a good job of backing out there. Yahirock gets rid of Mobuki at distance. Had a Vandal, but just couldn't do it in time. There's one behind. Stomp doesn't know that, but a wall comes up and does end up kind of protecting Stomp in a way. Forward again. They just saw Kaneki on the other end. Flash comes out. Wow, Stomp gets one. Swing of a lifetime. That is a home run in the other end, and Pretz just threw the smoke. Why not? Yahirock goes down on the other side of that wall right there. 35 seconds remain, and they'll push forward again. The Orange have a monster, and Pretz gets rid of Revich.
30 seconds left.
Pretz
One
is
enemy
turning them.
remaining.
Now again, Drago takes out Geomagic. So it's a 4-on-1 situation.
All
They
right.
take out Woody Seth again, kind of in one of those rat corners. And 11 rounds in a row for the side of the Syracuse Orange. Again, such a big round, and we talk about it. Pretz is so rock solid in a lot of these fights. Being able to shoot through multiple smokes, being able to kind of track, such a good round from the side of the SU Orange.
I have never seen a judge do that little damage at 7 meters, by the way. I do feel a little bad on that side, but Nebraska will call their second timeout as the Orange have won 11 straight. A good feeling for the Syracuse squad, who have taken a moment to say, woo, wow, that was awesome, guys. Now let's win these last 2. Keep in mind, it's best of 26, 25, best 25. Yes, it is technically best 25. But you go to 24 and you go into these extra rounds, and the Orange have taken it from a 5-0 loss to a complete taking over of this game. Going between 2 halves at this point. They've done a phenomenal job on the defense to find their way to play together, and on the offense, they're doing a great job. I mean, even that second round tells you everything you need to know about that peak with Mo Boogie as well as Stomp moving forward. They did a great job, and it's great to see the team play together in an amazing way. Follow me on Twitter. You see it right there. Follow him on Twitter. Sorry, I just saw it. I thought it'd be funny, but these teams are very good in every essence when they can play together, and Syracuse is just doing a better job right now. And on Corrode, that really matters.
Yeah, and I think their team cohesion has been kind of the big thing I really want to point out. I think they've been playing really well together as a squad, even in situations where, again, one member's flashing, everyone peeks that corner immediately. Again, we see Pretz again right now just sitting, trying to play a little bit aggressive as well. Again, 3 members are pushing from the side of the Cornhuskers onto this B lobby. He's going to take a step back. Doesn't want to peek immediately as 4 members of the side of the Orange are pushing onto A site.
Phenomenal read from Pretz there. That'll maybe create some aggression, but they'll move in on this A site. Pretz will back off. No need to be there anymore. Kinky gets 1. Kinky gets, that's Revich gets another. Revich 2. Boogie and Stomp, and a very good start for Nebraska, who have taken the Orange a little bit. Kind of in a way that they weren't expecting to start this one. A good timeout from them has really got them back in their fundamentals. They have 3 kills, 2 for one player, 1 for another as the Prowler comes through. Orange get the spike, and they're going to make the most out of a 2-on-5 here. No need to save with 46 seconds left. They see 1, able to get 1. Pretz gets rid of Kaneki on the other end. Kaneki, excuse me, keep pronouncing it Kaneki. I thought about it once, and now it's just over for my brain as Drago gets another, and suddenly things are looking pretty good. 2-on-3, they're going to force out an ult here. Should haunt everybody, and they're getting more aggressive than anything as Spike goes down. Drago has to move in to pick it up and gets the eye rock, but not much they can do there in Nebraska. After 11 rounds, finally collects a round win.
And overall, one of those situations where a good 2-on-5 situation, again, the best they can do in a 2-on-5 situation. Overall, Drago able to get some kills, but again, one of those situations where they were just so disadvantaged from the start. And one of the things I want SU to do is make sure that you kind of cross your T's and dot your I's, because when they went around that box, they did not check that a member was sitting in that rat angle by the box. They got 2 people killed. Revich took out 2 of the members from the SU squad. So it's one of those situations where when a team is down and they've gotten an 11-0 run, you want to do something different. You want to mix it up. So the Cornhuskers are looking for something different. Spike Carrier goes down.
Wow.
Rock. Wow, what a peak.
Just great work with the Guardian there, but unfortunately, they're still kind of at a disadvantage. A very good job from Mobugi to peek through a smoke, or a blind rather, that he was completely flashed on, and they just didn't shoot him. As Woody Seth lets everybody know his peril in chat. With the whole mag. These things happen, as it's a double ult from the Orange to fully delay. Wow, Pretz nailed one. It's Geomagic, but Waylay comes up top. Very good job by their Waylay. It'll be the ult down for the other side. Now Pretz suddenly has to force himself into some value. Haunt comes out. They know there's one there, and Pretz somehow, with minimal damage, gets rid of Revich. Now again, no blue go Prowler. Knows they're there. On Spike. Somewhere right or left. Forward. Fakes the plant, and all it does is tell Pretz where he is. And a amazing clutch from Pretz on a 1 and 2. 4 kills for the captain, and the Orange of match point.
Carson, Martian Death Beam aimed at the earth. It is a clutch situation. Who do I want to win that clutch? I want Pretz. What a round from the captain. Again, clutching it out. One of those situations where the round started off really poorly, but again, they understood that they didn't have the ability for the entire cornerhustle squad to rotate over to B, get the plant off, and really good round from the captain to win it. Put them at match point for the side of SU Orange.
Yeah, I want Presley Zhang, I'll tell you that much. Very good job for the Orange. Stomp comes through with the dimensional drift and will immediately start this one off with the Orange trying to win, obviously, on round 12. He'll mark 2, let him know. They hear him very loudly. As he'll come back into reality at this end right here. He'll walk right in. Stomp gets one. Revenge, but here comes Mobugi. He goes through that divergent pass, has the ability, gets blinded, just going after it anyway. Drago gets another in the other end through the smoke, and Yahirok just shoots with a Spectre and somehow collects 2. It's Drago and Mobugi. Still a 3-on-2 advantage for the Orange. Not a great... It's not a great job. It's just bad luck, unfortunately. The guy with the Spectre decided to hit M1 while you were standing in the smoke. Forward again, the Orange have kind of a disadvantaged position here, and Yahirok able to get one in the form of Stomp on that long end. They have to peek. They don't know if they're defusing still. That's one. Owen looking for a second, and as he returns back to 13-13, he finds a positive KD but loses it. As a clutch from Woody set there. Very good job for this Nebraska squad who's been struggling.
One of those rounds where Yahirok just kind of hit everything on that Spectre. Good round overall from the side of the Cornhuskers, just kind of able to bring something back. Again, with the side of the SU squad, it's one of those situations where you're so close to ending the map that you're kind of feeling like you're a little bit more forced. Again, Owen hitting some big shots for SU, but they just need to calm down. One of those situations where we're in the driver's seat. Let's just collect ourselves. We don't need to play too aggressive. Again, Mobugi has been playing really well when he has that aggression, but we need to temper that aggression, controlled aggression from the side of the SU Orange.
Yeah, and for Syracuse right now, it's kind of all about just keeping your momentum in check, not letting Nebraska back into this game, and finding a way to really just be okay with yourself at a certain point. And a lot of it's going to come into generally just playing as yourself and being aggressive, which is who they are. Pretz able to get one in Revenge. Kind of a save round for some of these guys. It's a full save. Stomp will get his gun, though. It's one on the ground. Forward again. They do a good job here of pushing in, and they have that outside A link and A main kind of clear, but gonna pivot here. They heard one on that right side, and they know there's 2 headed towards B. Gonna throw an ult over towards B. What a fake. They're gonna just go towards A. And will this work out? They see a teleport. Wow. What a fake.
What a fake.
A fake. Goodness gracious.
Really good play from the side of SU right there. Again, big fake from the Fade ulti. Kind of got the entire Cornhuskers off the ground.
It's like throwing your, it's like pretending to throw a ball with a dog. That's pretty much what just happened there.
It's going to be difficult for the side of the Cornhuskers. Again, they've been struggling in these post-plant scenarios. Again, Yahirok is approaching, but again, in a disgusting crossfire angle, Owen takes out Woody Seth. Kaneki takes out Mobugi. Owen takes out Geomagic.
Wow.
Yahirok as well. Pretz takes out Kaneki. 13-7 win for the side of the SU Orange. Again, they had only won 6 rounds before this, and now a map win on Corrode for the Orange.
Talking about the crossfire of doom and despair. There was just another guy every single time, and then the last one there on the fade walked in and found the last 2 guys they were missing right there in that equation. Very good win for Syracuse. They do a very good job here. Pretz and Drago lead the scoring, 25-20 for them. Very good showing from the freshman, but even better from the captain, showing you just why. The worst player for the Orange, Owen, technically the worst, got 13 assists. He did a great job for this team. Had the most, didn't have the most deaths, but had the most assists in the entire lobby. Nobody else had double digits but him. Stomp had 14, 12, and 4. Struggled a little bit at the beginning, found it towards the end. And Mobugi, 18 and 11 and 9. Only one player over, I guess, at the 1 KD mark for Yahirok, 19, 19, and 4. Cornhuskers did not get a lot of value out of their initiators.
Yeah, and the Cornhuskers just kind of struggled, especially when it came to after they got off of their initial strategy of playing onto that B site. And again, big shots hit from the side of the SU. Mobugi kind of came alive in those middle rounds. Drago also had some really big rounds as well, especially kind of a bit of clutch, and kind of put the pressure off SU after going down 0-5. And again, we talked about it, Captain Pretz. He just jumps in with the Mo Bucky right there. Stomp as well, making big plays.
Yeah, everybody in the Orange kind of came up big when they needed to. And, you know, there's a universe from not far from ours where that's a Bucky ace. And that's horrifying to think about, but, very good job from them anyway. Watch the crossfire of doom and despair there right at the end. But 13-7 win for the Orange. It's very good for them. It's what they were hoping for, obviously. But then we'll jump into map 2, which the Orange are happy about map 2 because now they just took their pick and they won on it. And, hey, we just beat the 2 best teams in the league unbind. Let's go beat Nebraska. And it could be a 2-0 win for the Orange if they play as well as they have been last week.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see kind of what the Orange want to do on this map. It's one of those situations where you kind of get that surge of momentum. Again, the squad played really well. It's one of those situations where maybe Monster tries to come in. It's one of those, he's one of those freshmen that are going to kind of take over this program. So see if maybe we can get a little bit more experience of him in a competition setting.
Sanctioned
yeah, exactly.
We'll see just kind of how it's going to play out. I just had lunch before this. That's 6 p.m. So, no, it's actually almost 9. I don't know where I am, but it's certainly not Eastern time. Hello, Mountain time. Anyway, we'll see how they play that out. Drago might stay because Drago did very good on bind against Ohio State and Michigan State. But we'll be here in just a moment. Stay tuned. We've got more Syracuse Esports Valorant on the way. We'll be right back in just a moment. We are still on a bit of a delay. You can see that they're standing up, which is never a good sign if you're looking for gameplay. But what we can provide you is some beautiful analyst. However, let's jump back into what we thought about the Syracuse squad into those first 5 rounds. What did you notice specifically that was kind of causing them to fail in those first 5?
I think in the first 5 rounds, it just felt like they didn't have a way to deal with the aggression of the Cornhuskers, especially onto that B site. And, you know, what we talked about with the control of mid, they had some control, they had some util out there, but it was one of those situations where it's kind of that faux control. They don't actually know where anyone's going. We're just throwing util out there and seeing maybe someone's aggressively peeking. But one of those situations where I just think they struggled, especially onto the B site. They only had the Viper on there a lot of those situations, and they just struggled to play the post-plant situations. I think after the Cornhuskers got away from B site for some reason, that's kind of when SU came alive. And it's one of those situations where I think SU's cohesion was the big turning point. We talked about it. There was a lot of rounds where Mabugi gets hindered, and immediately somebody on the SU squad is immediately peeking to make sure that there is a fair, 2-on-2 crossfight.
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations where I think they played really well in those kind of moment-by-moment scenarios where it felt like the squad really said, hey, you're caught out, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to create this crossfire angle.
So, excuse me, they knew who they needed to enforce, and that's a big thing there, is you're playing enforcement, you're playing win-now games. You're playing, how do we win this peak at this very moment? And a lot of it came down for the Orange to being smart about it and understanding how to jump into it and at a natural level where you feel like, how do you get your intuition to start running?
Yep.
And curious about last game stats. Orange were 0-5 in the first 5 rounds. And then beyond that point, 13-2. Nebraska could not find a way past. Score was 13-7, somehow closer than it really seemed. Looked like we were going to get a Nebraska blowout, which is not something I was anticipating from a 1-11 squad. And things kind of just unraveled for them. They started playing very poorly as a team. They started not doing a great job, even in gunfights, just winning their ones. And you don't win your ones, you don't win your games. And unfortunately for that, Nebraska suffered that last time. They'll take a brief moment here to kind of put themselves back together as we head to bind. Obviously, Syracuse is very good at bind. They are self-titled sometimes bind merchants. But how do you beat a merchant in his own store?
I don't think you can. It's one of those situations where, again, SU's rolling right now, and it's with a team that's kind of very momentum-based. It felt like Pretz kind of held the line. After the 0-5 start, Pretz was kind of the person that got them rolling. It's one of those situations where another player we didn't mention as well is Owen. Again, he didn't have the craziest, flashiest score lines, but we've talked about it with the team. He's kind of one of those people that kind of maintains and holds the line. It's guys, we can do this. They took a timeout. They kind of gathered themselves, and they saw some wins kind of put up on the board, and then they just started rolling. And we saw the aggression from players like Mabugi, where he kind of comes in, makes those plays. Drago as well was really, really strong in a lot of those rounds on Viper as well, kind of winning a lot of those duel fights. So SU is one of those squads that's very momentum-based. So after they got rolling on a map that they've historically struggled on a map where they're merchants, I feel like they're going to run the store.
Yeah, I mean, there's no really better way to say it. Right now, the Orange are playing with house money, and as Mr. House said in the hit game Fallout New Vegas, I'm very mad that they didn't remaster that. And it was
I thought they were doing a House MD reference.
No, what is it? What is the Rat Bites?
Rat Bites.
Oh boy, I love esports. Obviously, it's going to be very hard to beat the Orange in their own territory here. Bind has been something they've been great on. They're 2-0 this year on Bind and have played the 2 best teams, I'd argue, in the PEC. Boise State right now is the other team they haven't played. I'm excited to see them because there is some argument that Boise State might be the best team in the conference. Ohio State is undefeated, but Boise State played a very close game to Ohio State. One of the only two teams that have taken games off are weirdly the second place team, the third place team, and then the sixth place team who took a game off Ohio State. And it's a weird feeling, but obviously as we get closer to Vegas, you're playing with house money. The Orange are going to want to keep Bind in the momentum. And with the way how bans work, it's good for them. They'll have a way basically to keep Bind in their cards.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where when you kind of have a map where you're the ones running the show, you're the ones that kind of have all the strategies available to you, it makes it a lot easier because it puts so much pressure on the opposing team where it's like, if you lose map number 1, you know you're going to SU's bind. The bind is basically the shine center for SU. It's our background, it's our home, it's our store, and once you come in, it's going to be a really hard way, especially when the captain, Pretz, is kind of rolling right now.
Yeah, SU 2-0 this week, so keep in mind, or I'm actually not sure with the, I'm going to just straight up look it up on my computer, because we have the website pec.edge.leauge.os.gg, bang, where you can check out stats and rosters, standings, what you're looking for there, and some content as well, written content from student journalists, which is a very cool thing. But either way, we'll jump on to Bind here, and I will update you any factor. The Orange won in Rocket League on Monday. Tuesday, they did a very good job as well. They beat Nebraska 3-0 in Overwatch, and today it'll be their first program win. We've split every single opponent we faced 2-2, so they're looking for their first program full program win where they can flip the flag, if you will, at varsity.
Yeah, it looks like SU is going to be keeping the same roles that they kept in map number 1. Again, Pretz is going to be playing that Fade, and Mabugi, again, is still hovering the Waylay. He had a really strong kind of mid-game, again, league reference, but mid-game on map number 1 where he was very aggressive after he kind of saw those kills rolling. So I'm excited to see, and again, starting on the attacker side, SU has the advantage because it's just a map that they're very comfortable and familiar with. Interesting to see Owen on this Brimstone. He did play the Omen in map number 1, seeing how he kind of mixes that up. And on the side of the Cornhuskers, again, Woody Seth, one of those players I wanted to highlight because he played a lot of rat angles. So it's one of those situations where he is kind of the trump card or kind of the jester in the deck, because one of those situations where he can kind of mix it up. You feel very comfortable on a map, you get caught out because you're not expecting someone to be in that angle. You lose a couple rounds, and so he's one of those players I kind of want to highlight because he played a very unorthodox style in map number 1, and so I feel like he's going to bring that into map number 2 as well.
Now you can have a rocket launcher, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But we'll check out some standings elsewhere in the PEC as we prepare here. If you're curious about our Smash team, they're sitting at 7-3 with the now #1 player in North America. Syrup, the freshman, has been very good, and he has led this team to a 7-3 record. It's been a bit difficult. They've lost a game to Minnesota, Michigan State, and Nebraska this season, just based on difficulties generally with the program, or not with the program, with the format. It's a lot more team-heavy, so sometimes they can't find their way to win. In Rocket League, your Orange are currently sitting towards the top as well, also at 7-3. A bit different of situations, though. Pro players everywhere around them. Baylor is 11-0. Boise State's 10-3. 8-3 Michigan State, and we're 7-3. I believe 8-3, excuse me, and Michigan State lost last night, so they move up to 3 when the standings eventually get updated at the end of the week. And Overwatch, where the Orange currently sit 4th, technically, they're 6-2. Lost a bit of a difficult situation there, but as we're just running through this as we go through a tech pause as well. But Ohio State, they're top there as well. They are the top of 2 games, and towards the bottom of the other 2, Valorant, not Valorant, wow, of Smash and Rocket League.
Yeah, and SU is one of those teams, and the PEC is one of those conferences where it feels like every team has a specific esports that they do really well in. I'm excited to see kind of all the other matches as well as I get kind of a little bit more involved with the esports program. So it's going to be interesting to see as I get to commentate a little bit more of the Rocket League, Syrup hopefully on Smash. That would be great as well. So I'm excited to see, again, a little bit of a tech pause like we mentioned a little bit earlier, just kind of getting stuff settled. Orange are on the attacker side, seeing what they kind of pull out in this map number 2. Again, don't have too much experience. So Carson, what is SU's preference in terms of on-bind? What do they like to do? What are some of the strategies they like to play? They like to play B, mid, A site. What are their preferences?
We will talk offense first, and I'm going to take a very close look at the map. I'm not going to lie to you right now. They are obviously in red. Keep in mind, they love that double push over to B. They like bringing 2 players, one going through the top here towards mid. You can't see where I'm pointing on your screen, but they love those B pushes, bringing 3. They really are a fan of splits. They love going through Bath as well. They're a very centric heavy team. They're just very good everywhere on bind. They know how to play every angle. They have preferences, sure, but when they want to play off angles, they know them. When they want to play a different route, they know them. They are a very intelligent team. They play teleporters really well on this map. There's not much more to say other than the Orange are probably the best team in the country, or in the PEC, I apologize, on bind.
I'm excited to see it. Again, SU is one of those squads where I think they've gotten the momentum rolling, and I'm interested to see what the Cornhuskers do, pull out to see what they can kind of stop. Again, they are still running a squad that has been able to put up some matches. Again, they struggled last week versus the University of Minnesota. They went 0-2, but it's one of those situations where they're just trying to kind of put it together as a squad.
Yeah, and some interesting picks here from them. I'm noticing a Sky, which you do not see often.
Okay.
You just don't. It's very interesting to see that there. It's not for any particular reason. Just players tend to favor that Fade a bit more. And their util usage in terms of initiator, Sky has got some healing capabilities, though, which might be the reason that you would prefer to play them. I'm fairly certain somebody's computer is so broken, and I really hope that it is not that broken. But we've obviously got quite a tech pause at this point, so we'll see. Let's get a little off topic here. Let's go to our tech pause topics. What do I have here for us? What's your favorite food? Because obviously it's your first cast. Let's get to know you a little bit.
Favorite food. So favorite real food, I would say my mom's cooking. I really enjoy my mom's cooking. I think it's one of those things where I really like it. Favorite fake food? Cheetos Flamin' Hot. Again,
that's
this is why
what
I'm
you
saying
meant by
fake
real
food.
and fake food.
Fake food.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay.
I saw the look on your
Snack.
face. I was like,
what
yeah.
is? It's like, what's about to happen?
Because I will devour bags of Cheetos Flamin' Hot, even though they do
Wow.
atrocious things to my unk-aged body.
Yes. The intestinal lining does not.
No,
appreciate
does
it.
not
No,
agree.
It melts away. I
Yeah.
was never a big. I really liked them, but I've stopped eating them
Yeah.
because they legitimately will kill me in the sense of like. I don't know what it is. I'm very good with spice. Like I've done the hot wing challenge at B-Dubs, and I've been relatively fine. I didn't need milk. I didn't need anything like that. I had some ranch. That was about it. But for some reason, I get to a bag of like a small bag of hot Cheetos. I'm like, oh, this is, whew, like it's really getting me. But we're gonna take a few minutes to get rid of this tech pause. We'll talk a little bit more about what's happened and what's happening here in this matchup in just a moment. But we'll be right back with more Syracuse Valorant in just a moment. Hello and welcome back to Syracuse Valorant. Took a brief moment to tech pause, and we have returned, luckily, as we jump right back into this Nebraska-Syracuse game. Obviously, Game 1 went to the Orange, if you're just tuning in. 13-7 win for Good Guys, if you're talking about a home broadcast, and the name on one of our chests here. I didn't wear my Syracuse polo today. Could have matched. But we'll jump right into round one. An immediate control here from our Viper, as Drago going to keep playing. But interesting picks here from Nebraska. We'll talk a little bit about that more here after this pistol round.
Ooh, Mabugi's playing really aggressive on Bind right now. Kaneki and Duel. Mabugi takes out Kaneki onto this A site as well. Geomagic is already tagged as well, so this A site is already for the side of SU. Pretz takes out Geomagic through the smoke again. Map number 1, he was able to take out so many through the smoke. Takes out another one. SU has control of A site.
Very good start for them, and one through there. Woody Seth gets rid of Pretz as he jumps in front of the bullets for Owen, who was reloading at the time. Pretty rough shout for them, but the Tejo pick is really interesting here from Nebraska. I'm not sure how that util is going to play, especially in this current meta, but it's going to be a Sky and a Viper remaining, trying to win the 4-on-2. The Orange have the advantage of, and Drago, 2 shots, 2 kills. Goodness gracious, the freshman gets things started in one heck of a way.
You talked about it. SU is really comfortable on Bind, and so they play that super aggressive super well as well. Mabugi had such a good round in terms of playing aggressive. Drago Nicholas Altstadt from Northville, Michigan, majoring in mechanical engineering, again, had such a good round. 2 shots, 2 kills. Big plays on the Viper in map number 1, and big plays to start off map number 2.
Yeah, a very intelligent guy. We have a lot of intelligent esports players, as we've got Mobucky here. So we're going to jump on board with this and see what happens. Either way, the big thing we've been seeing a lot is a lot of intelligent players we have. He's a engineering major, of course, but obviously we have other guys. The tank of the Overwatch team is an aeronautical engineering major. He'll jump forward. Owen will get rid of Revage. In a rough spot right here, Pretz swing gets rid of Yairok, and immediately the Orange have themselves a very good situation. Spike goes down with a minute 20 and an advantage of 5 players to 3. Even if one doesn't have too much health, Mobucky, there's one. Second shot gets another. Goodness gracious. He's 6-0 in terms of KD when he's playing on that Bucky, and a very good job from Mobucky as he backs off rightfully. Didn't know where Geomagics was. They just saw his shoulder.
He's hunting. Drago.
Doesn't know just how good his crosshair placement was, but it won't matter. Orange get that flawless they were waiting for earlier as a good start for them. 2-0. Wow, that is unbelievable how good that was.
I love to watch the Orange on Bind. They're just so aggressive and so decisive. It's one of those situations where, again, Pretz makes such big plays, and Mobucky lambs to a slaughter right here in the window right there with the Bucky. Takes out 2. Good takeout as well at the end. And again, one of those situations where SU just plays super decisive on this Bind site, and it's one of those situations where the Cornhuskers need to kind of regroup and find something, because right now it's all SU all the time.
Yeah, and very good start for them. 2-0 kind of lets you be a lot more picky here in terms of what engagements you take. And Mobugi likes to just take all of them. He's like, I want all of it. I want all the peaks, especially when they're within range of his Bucky. He very much enjoys the first few rounds where he is able to pick that up and make a difference with it. Forward goes the rest of his team as well. Stop has the Spectre. Gun advantage for Nebraska since they full bot. Orange haven't bought since the first round, or end of the first round, excuse me. They push forward here. Drago sees one. Wow, through the wall. Goodness gracious. Good placement from the freshman, and Yairok able to get Pretz on the other side. Spike carrier goes down. Spike gets picked back up by Mobugi. Revage gets rid of Mobugi, and Spike goes down again. This time still in B, still in an area where the Orange can grab it. They need to find a way to pick it up. With one waiting in the corner, it's Tejo coming to reinforce the Viper there for Nebraska. Stop shoots him through the smoke. Knows there's one right there. Spike has been grabbed by one of Brimstone. They'll teleport to the other end, and the Orange have done a very good job to swing it. Need to get rid of one, though. Owen versus the other Brimstone Geomagics. Just not settling at all here. We'll throw down the plant because Drago's right there. Misses the first shot, but Geomagics hasn't the time to turn. As they go down once again. Stomp gets rid of Kinky up top, and wow, just a great play from the Orange all around.
SU are just kind of all over the place, and they're just so enveloping, and they're just kind of suffocating the Cornhuskers right now as well on this A site. It's one of those situations where Revenge tries to get something done, but there's so many cross angles where he can't even approach. He doesn't feel comfortable because SU has just been enveloping the Cornhuskers. This should be a round number 3 for the side of SU.
They'll jump very slowly with Revenge, who is just not going to do anything but save, which is the right call. If you're curious right now, we can talk some Orange basketball. They're up 90-87 in overtime versus Cal. Well-wanted win. They're 1-5 in their last 6.
1-6 in their last 7.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
forgot
you're
a game.
close, you're
1-6. I mean, it's still right. I just lost a loss in 1 point there, but
you got to remember all those losses, Carson. Every single one.
90-87 lead. Fast. We're going to free throws at this point. Cal is out of timeout, so we'll see how that works. They still obviously have the ability to hit a 3 to tie this game, and it's been one of those nights. So we'll see if it goes in double overtime. We'll update you. But either way, still some great matchup happening here, but I just don't know how the Huskers can find a way against this Orange squad on Bind.
They're just so decisive on Bind especially, and it's one of those situations where it just might be one of those maps for the side of the Cornhuskers as they stack.
He just sold his Vandal so he could get a bucky. Oh no.
Gotta respect the aggression.
You do. You
Gotta
do have
respect
to.
Oh my god, he is unrelenting right now. He might just drop shots.
He just runs around. Why did he do that? I don't know. He is having more fun than me, I can guarantee that. A bright smile on his face, I'd have to guess.
They are stuck in a bath right now. Again, SU trying to see if they can get some sort of control, maybe around mid. Stomp does have the operator, so he is looking to see if he can get some sort of pick onto a site. Every single member on the Cornhuskers has rotated besides the Viper, who is kind of camping out in that fountain area.
Ooh. Stomp is in a weird spot here. This gun works very well if you have a light shield that's basically an operator, but anything more, it's not. It goes back to being a scout. That is the wrong game, and I cannot remember what the interval is called. Pret's forward with the rest of his team there. He'll watch as there's 2 in that other end. There's 3 at that crossfire, and somehow they live. Owen able to get near almost 1. Magic is able to get them. They don't know where anyone is, but Stomp and Pretz together shoot 1. Drago gets rid of Geomagics, and despite the crossfire, they do a phenomenal job to put it together.
Really good play from the Orange to kind of establish that crossfire angle and especially be able to kind of, you know, we talk about it, reinforce a lot of those angles as well. So good play from the side of the SU. 4-0 start on Bind, and SU is just kind of all over the Cornhuskers.
Just free throws for the Orange right now, and not like the basketball team. We can make them at this point right now, it seems. Good shot right into the middle of Revenge, and that's a good round win, 4-0 for the Orange, and all you can hope for is we don't get a corrode situation in the reverse.
I'm interested to see if SU wants to mix it up a little bit because it's one of those situations where when you're so comfortable on this map, you kind of want to start to try out some stuff and just see if maybe you can execute some strategies that you haven't implemented completely. So I'm interested to see if SU can kind of mix it up a little bit just to see if they get more practice, especially on a more competitive environment.
Immediately in here, it's going to be a ult from their fade, or our fade, excuse me. Pretz is, they just didn't see one on the right there, and they get the trade. Very decisive. Helps them out very quickly as they stacked A and lost 1 on that B site, which means Tejo is kind of stuck alone right now. Mobugi with a judge just does not care what the state of the economy is. Wow, good shot by Stomp. Kanki goes down.
Fake teleport. Time to jump.
We'll go for a gate crash that will now, the teleport will fade away. Drago forward, gets rid of Woody Seth. They're about to find one here. Gun is peeking out in the smoke, maybe. I'm curious if it is. No, it wasn't. They see him anyway. Stomp goes down, and Mabugi has some bad news. There's a lot of damage to 2, but will not get any kill off. They will sacrifice this round to the greater good for economy. Flash comes out. Drago's there. Drago 2! He's got a 3K2 at the end, and the freshman has been fantastic.
Cleans up for the side of SU. What a play from Drago. It's one of those situations where the SU was just able to buy just enough time. They weren't able to defuse the bomb, had to get off site. Drago accurately dodges the flash as well and is able to pick up 2. Good play from the side of SU. Again, one of those things where it's suffocating. You say, okay, we saved that gun. We're fine now. We try to go back to our own spawn, and they just get taken out. Good play from the side of SU. Again, one of those situations where Mabugi is playing aggressive. He is trying out with the judge. But one of those situations where SU basketball is not playing too well because Cal has tied it up already with the game tying 2.
Oh my goodness! Speaking of 2 to tie the game, won't do all that. Mobuki and Pretz goes down, fanning the hammer for Woody Seth, who might be a little bit out of his element there. He'll back up and does a good job there. But double overtime for the Cal-Syracuse game, if you're curious on basketball. I know we have a very basketball-centric fan base, but it's a pretty rough one after a missed free throw right after I said it. I should have never said it because I think I jinxed them even a couple. Actually, I'm not that far from the dome. We were right here. Either way, Draco should be playing there. Very good job on the Rock. The freshman has done a phenomenal job. As immediately Owen gets the tune-up combat stim. Where was Revage? I have no idea, but they're gone now. A very good job by Owen to turn around. Revage had a rifle there and just didn't use it.
Really good play from the side of Owen right there. Again, being able to get onto site. Good covering fire from the Yoru as well. Stomp takes out Geomagics as well. Really good play from the side of SU. It's one of those situations where even when they fall behind due to, one of those rat angles from the side of the Cornhuskers, they still end up pulling ahead. Looks like Sethy's trying to get something done, but Drago does smell it out. Again, trying to make a play. One of those situations where the Cornhuskers have to get something on the board, but most likely he will just try to save this Phantom.
Yeah, you have to imagine they're just going to take a moment here. I wouldn't peek if I was Woody Seth. You're down 6-0. If you probably either way, whether you lose this gun or not. But, I mean, you have a gun. You want to take advantage of that. You had a good 2K. You did some damage to the economy. You're going to try and get a pick here, but you're just going to lose your gun if you look too far. Good angle from Stomp, and he really stomps the life out of that push, unfortunately, for Nebraska. 2 really good kills that just don't get anything out of them.
And I really like the way that SU's kind of been playing these end of round scenarios. They're kind of making it so that the Cornhuskers can't take anything away after each one of these rounds. You can't save a gun. You can't do anything because SU will find you. They've been able to find them in all of these kind of small... Way too threatening for a Valorant game at 9 o'clock, but SU will find you. They're able to take out those guns, and they're just destroying the economy of the Cornhuskers. They can't get anything done. They can't save any of these guns, and they're kind of fighting all of these battles, weapon down, weapon down. Even right now, you see it where Woody, Sethi, and Kaneki are the only 2 members that are going to be able to buy, and they're just going to kind of run out a ragtag lineup while SU is just rolling in the dough.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Nebraska timeout. I don't see a reason it wouldn't be, but they're taking a moment down 6-0. The Corrode comeback has officially escaped them. They will now be tied at halftime minimum, and they're only 6 rounds into this game as they enter round 7. Gunjan, I'm going to put you into the shoes of the Nebraska coach. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say to them right now? Because it's not good. It's really not a good feeling. What can you provide that might cheer up a squad like this?
I think it's one of those situations where I do like the idea from the side of Woody Sethi to play some of those more untraditional angles. He's able to catch out SU because SU still sometimes struggles when it comes to crossing their T's and dotting their I's, checking every single angle as they approach onto site. Pretz takes out Revage immediately. But it's one of those situations where it might be one where you have to play super back on the site and just kind of let SU approach fully and just try to stack and get something done, because right now, the way they're splitting it up, they're losing every single one of their gunfights.
Coach Gunjan, do you think it matters?
It's about pride. It's about pride, Carson. It's one of those things where we may have lost 6 in a row, but we will not lose 7. We will not lose 7.
As you say that, they're down 4-2 with 50 seconds left. Orange have control of B-side again. We'll take a friendly spike plant here. No ults on the side of Nebraska, but the Cornhuskers do have next round, or this round, if they decide not to save. A save makes the most sense here. You need the money down the road. You might as well take it. There's 3 ults there. I'm sure the Orange don't feel too sparingly about using them right now, so...
See, if Mabugi had a judge, they would be a little bit scared.
They would be really scared. But Mabugi probably bot handle, but I can't even say that because they've been going a little bit otherwise. But Stomp is going to push into this, and they don't know they're there. He might be a casualty of fate here. Sees one in the shoulder, but now the Orange know they're there together as a team, and they'll back up. They don't want to take it, obviously. They're just going to try and push through this Spike here, and they get one. Geomagics, but then there's the other. Attackers still win. Everybody else gets out, and the Orange do a little damage to their economy, but some more to theirs statistically.
Yeah, one of those situations where they try to get something. Stomp wanted to play a little bit more aggressively, and it's one of those things where you kind of have to. You only get so many competitive matches, you only get so many competitive rounds, and you kind of want to see if you can kind of push the envelope. Again, they knew what they should have done. It's one of those situations where I know what I should do, but that's not what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to see if I can get some style points. I'm going to see if I can kind of break their spirit a little bit, because they've been breaking their spirit in those past 6 rounds by just making it so that their economy is completely destroyed. I like the idea from SU. You got to play aggressive. You got to push the tempo, because if you want to be the best team, you got to beat some of these teams like this.
Yeah, and they're hoping for a 13-0 here. Obviously, this team plays with a lot of pride, especially on Bind, but 13-0 is here nor there. Obviously, we're still in round 8, but the main thing you're noticing is that this team plays very aggressive, and I'm assuming that will turn into very silly at some points, and sometimes mistakes like that happen. Owen and Stomp basically play body block, and all the shots go through Owen into Stomp, and Stomp's bullets cannot go through them. Pretz will capture a orb. That is the highlight so far for the Orange in this round as a minute goes and heads towards the end. But gotta say, towards the end, Nebraska has a good chance to find some more wins and maybe find some noise in Vegas. They shouldn't take, if this is a game lost, they shouldn't take it that badly, I don't think.
No, 100%. It's one of those things where this is the map that the opposing team is specialized on. They're really, really good at it. So it's one of those things where we get good practice. We get to see what the opposing, the best team in the PEC when it comes to Bind. But Mabuki is going to play super aggressive right there. Drago takes out one as well. Woody Seth is going down right here. Trying to see if we can find out the Viper onto this B site. We'll see if they might just be ships in the night, but the spike is down. He's gonna be able to get it, but Reavage.
Oh, I'm gonna ult here. You have to ult here if you get this kill. Ooh, spoke too soon. Ooh, swing and a miss from Carson Cass. Reavage gets rid of Drago there, wins the Hyper Duel, and the Huskers have their first round in round 8. Not ideal, but we can't have everything go our way in life.
I like the idea from the side of the Cornhuskers, because one of the things that they did do in that round was they basically gave up mid completely. They gave up complete mid control. They stacked 3 onto the A site. They stacked 2 onto B site. They're saying, we're struggling right now to win those mid 1v1 fights, so we're just not going to take them at all. Again, that leaves space for the Orange to kind of get a little bit more tricky, approach with some of those different angles, but if the Orange don't realize that, then the Cornhuskers are kind of getting away with it.
Yeah, and you want to have you want to have the how do I put this? The 3 Fs mentality. From Fresno to Fargo to Florida, you want to play anytime, any season, anywhere. You want to be a team like Syracuse who are so decisive in what they do. They're so confident in where they play that they are a good enough team to beat anyone on any given week, just purely because they don't leave it up to fate. They leave it up to gunplay. They don't leave it up to mistakes. They make very little at this point, and they're, I guess, career clock for a lot of them. But even the freshmen are doing a very good job, and we see some mistakes from time to time, sure. But the Orange have done a very good job generally, and it'll be interesting to see. Interesting play here. Stomp will go through with the Dimensional Drift onto B site, is able to find the Viper and follow her out, and an interesting play. Yes, they get one, and Reavage on the other side. Pretz gets peeked and goes down, but very good Hellfire from Owen, who coordinated well with the Dimensional Drift.
Yeah, that was one of those, such a close situation right there. They were able to get the trade as well. Again, early ulti from Reavage. One of those situations where, again, Cornhuskers are just trying to mix it up. But Drago pops the ultimate onto this A side. This should be control for the side of SU as, again, Cornhuskers are in a post-plant situation. Yarrock trying to peek as well, but so many shots go in through the sludge? Toxic?
The toxic waste. I don't really know. Toxins. Oh, hi, Maboogie. There's one in Kinky who goes down very early. Woody Seth on the other end. Stomp nearly has it happen to him. They pick up gun. Yahi Rock has it. Now a 3-on-2. Disadvantage somehow turning out through the smoke for the Orange. Drago nearly nailed Yahi Rock on the other end with the classic. Sees him, right clicks one, needs another right click, and in the air, goodness gracious, Drago through the leg dribbles, posterizes Yahi Rock there.
I was gonna say maybe Yahi Rock kind of had a chance because he's been kind of turning on for the side of the Cornhuskers, but he wasn't able to get it done. Again, really good round for the side of SU. I like that the Cornhuskers are trying to mix it up. They are playing
a little bit more untraditional. Reavage popped the ultimate immediately at Fountain, trying to get some sort of control onto B site, but one of those situations where SU is still dominant on Bind, and they get the round win. Round number 10 coming up, but again, SU's been really strong on Bind, as we expected.
Yeah, Shorty here for Drago was expecting them to get to an 13-0 conversation. Comes up and, oh, why is Woody Seth there, Drago says. I think I may have seen him jump a little bit, which is completely reasonable. There is just a human being with a sheriff there. But bad start for the Orange, but obviously can't go too wrong, or might not go too wrong. We saw earlier they would go down 2 players, 3-on-5 disadvantage. Still came out with the win. But a minute remains, and the Orange have to find themselves back together here. Pretz will push up into Bath, as well as Mabugi up a short into a main. Oh. Very, very slow push here from the Orange. They put it together. Smokes come down. Stomp gets a headshot. Woody Seth takes a moment. Pushing again towards this other site. Mabugi into the back, out of Bath, onto a main. Owen will plant. And Pretz will throw down some util again into the smoke. They push forward. Stomp in lamps. They'll set up their plant very, very slow.
The Cornhuskers have struggled in a lot of these post-plant situations, but the Fade ulti does come out. Again, gets all 3 members. Stomp takes out Yayurok. Reavage again. Stomp takes out 4! Mabugi picks up Geomagics, and big round for SU. Again, big Fade ulti, and Stomp just cleaned it all up. SU goes up 9-1 on Bind, map number 2.
Sorry to talk over you, but I just could not help myself. Stomp, what a good job. I was enamored with my very, I didn't mean to be so monotone about it, but a very good kills from Stomp. 3 on the end there. Nearly had an ace, merely time that took it from him. 9 seconds until this around 11, and I'm at a certain point where I'm Nebraska where it's just like, guys, we got to go out there and have some fun. We can't go and have mental this bad into this next game because obviously it's not going well over there. Nebraska has to take a deep breath to find themselves, compose themselves, have any chance of winning this, and to put themselves back into the conversation next week when I believe they take on, I think it's Baylor.
Okay.
Which for Rocket League isn't great, but everything else, totally reasonable chance for them to come out on top. I believe one of their wins was against Baylor on this Nebraska side, but we don't have access right now to the semester 1 scheduling, excuse me.
North Dakota, again, right now the Cornhuskers are walking back over to the B side. Again, SU seems to be going back over to A, kind of drawing out some members to maybe rotate a little bit early. Woody Sethi again. I love when Woody Sethi get these early kills, but he just plays such unnatural and, unique angles for the side of the Cornhuskers. Good pick from the side, from their side, but again, Mabuki throws out.
Convergent paths. Forward again. Dive. Wow. Just well, I was going to say just into a combine there, but somehow the Orange found their way out. They got 2. Now it's 3, and suddenly it's even. Goodness gracious. I mean, you're playing tennis, and the guy just will not quit. The guy breaks his leg, and he's still winning. It feels like at certain points where the Orange have been hampered so badly in certain situations, but they won't quit. They'll find their way into these other ones. Here comes a divergent pass. It doesn't hit any, or excuse me, here comes the Tejo ult. It doesn't hit anybody.
Ooh, Drago takes them down. 3 bullets, 2 kills. SU picks up round number 10. What a play.
Very good job. Immediately 2 go down for the Orange, and we see a repeat of round 8, I believe it was, where they found their way back. Drago gets Geomagics, and then he collects 3 and 4 right there. A spectacular job in the freshman. 18 and 3 right now.
Having a round for himself right now on Bind. Again, we talked about it. He is kind of their go-to player, that player number 5 for the SU squad, especially on this Bind map. So kind of showing up for his team. Again, right now the Cornhuskers are in a really big disadvantage in terms of just weapons as well as just being able to kind of get stuff done. Stomp is in the dimensional drift. Find somebody. Yayurok takes out Drago. Owen takes out Geomagics on this A site. Again, all members of SU kind of converging onto this A site, trying to see if somehow the Cornhuskers can hold onto this A because they struggled in these post-plant positions.
2 come out. It's going to be 1 in Bath, 1 up top for the side of Nebraska, but they still stick to 2 on B. That is a right decision. They know that they love to rotate over this B side, and they push forward. Tejo rotating out. They figure the time might be related to something different. I'm not sure why Tejo rotates back to A here. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You've heard no noise on that A side, and you just go back anyway, and now Tejo has to return, and the Orange are playing a 1-on-4 instead of a 2-on-4. It's giving yourself half the time here. Revich goes down after a pretty good stinger kill, but just rough. Can't go back on that one, and Tejo does not get what they want there. One back, though. It's going to be nobody watching up in dorms. There will be one that comes down. It's going to be their raise. Mabuki gets one. It's Yai Rock. Another one for Stomp in the form of their Tejo. They don't know where the last one is. Suddenly she makes herself known, and Stomp does a great job there. 11-1. The Orange have another round.
Really good first half for the side of the Orange, and one of the things I want North Dakota, or I keep saying North
I gave
Dakota.
you Fargo, and
No,
now you're thinking
yeah,
all about the
North
Bison.
Dakota. One thing that I want Nebraska to mix up is that the way that they were able to kind of put the Orange kind of at unease, kind of make them a little bit nervous, was when Woody Sethi were getting those early pick kills on some of those non-traditional angles. And if you play standard versus the Syracuse Orange on bind, it is very much Orange favored. So it's one of those things where I want I'm going to say North Dakota again. Nebraska to mix it up. I want Woody Sethi to play a little bit more aggressive, because when you play standard versus SU on bind, most of the times you lose.
And maybe they can learn a thing from North Dakota State. You have to be resilient in these underdog situations. They find a way. Mobugi, I mean, they're going for that early pick, but you talk about how the entire game of Valorant is about changing the rules you give the other team. And when eventually you keep doing that, you know it's working, the rules will change, and it keeps happening there. Yahi Rock tries the same thing on an aggressive Thrifty, and suddenly now the Orange are up 5-3 on terms of, excuse me, yes, are up 5-3 on players. We switched sides, by the way. That happened, FYI. It's a pistol round.
Pistol round, one of those coin flip situations, can kind of string together a couple good rounds. Revich takes out Pretz. Revich takes out Mabugi as well. Good play kind of into the entrance of Bath, and now a 3-on-3 situation for the side of the Cornhuskers. See if they can get something rolling, but again, group up, push through together as a team, and try to take this A site.
They jump together, use some util, find out it's pretty unoccupied. Stomp, the only one there. He's waiting in the bathroom. One Revich through the smoke. Collected shots onto their raise. Again, on the other end, Drago right click. Goodness gracious. In lamps, he just gets rid of him. Stomp again. And wow, Coke, butter, barbecue chicken. It's been all easy for the Syracuse squad.
They had hope. They had 3 members onto site, and Stomp just stomped out any chance that Nebraska had right there. Again, 12-1 lead for Syracuse, and now this is going on to match point. It's going to be so difficult, but beautiful play from Stomp. One of those situations where we talked about map number 1, Pretz was kind of the hero, and now on map number 2, we have Drago, we have Stomp showing up for this team. I like that once Pretz kind of sets the bar, he sets the standard, everyone follows along.
Yeah, Drago does a very good job there of responding in kind. He's one of the...
Oh my God!
Oh, come on, Bretts! Nearly gets another, but the Stinger wins there. They're going for a voluntary save here just to have some fun. Yeah, they're getting a little aggressive in the sportsman-like way, I think. And they're being fun. Stomp is pushing very far with the Outlaw there. Everybody there, one tap, basically.
Closed.
Not a wall-bangable wall. Seth will plant, and the Nebraska Lincoln squad will have a spike down.
Let's see if Stomp again can make a play. He does know where they kind of are onto site. Woody Sethi is kind of... Stomp takes out Woody Sethi immediately. Drago takes out Kaneki. 13-1 win for the side of the Syracuse Orange over the University of Nebraska Lincoln. Great map number 2 and a 13-1 win on bind. Dominance from the Syracuse Orange.
Yeah, you said it all there. There's not much you can take out of bind other than we won a round against bind merchants. And when I say bind merchants, I mean it affectionately for the Orange. I have no idea how you get that good at a map in such a absurd way. Like, it's odd, but they topple the scoreboard. Nobody but Pretz under 500 in terms of, or over 1 in the KD, excuse me, thinking of win-loss record. He struggled, but had good assists on that initiator role. Drago, 21-4. What a game for the freshman. Stomp and Mobugi close behind. Owen goes 9-3-8, does his job there with Brim, and they're Sky is the best player they have, the only one in double digits. I mean, that's a lot to say. I mean, Syracuse, every single player had more assists other than one guy. So, fairly absurd, to be honest with you. But, yeah, I mean, not a lot of thoughts there, is there?
No, Syracuse showed up on map number 2, and it felt like when Pretz kind of, held the line on map number 1, momentum got rolling. Map number 2 was just so decisive.
Yeah.
That was kind of the big difference. It felt like on Corrode, they were kind of a little bit more passive, especially early on. Mabubi was the playmaker to kind of start the momentum rolling. Map number 2 on Bind, they were every single spot. It felt like they were just kind of suffocating for the side of the SU Orange.
That was the coach.
And University of Nebraska just didn't have answers. It just felt like when it came to gunplay, those 1v1 duels in mid, they lost that. When it came to rotations, Syracuse was just over them. And it felt like Nebraska was kind of off kilt, on tilt, and they just weren't able to get stuff done. And again, there's a reason that this team has taken every single one of the top teams to game number 3. When it comes to mine, they're the best at it.
A lot of positives going for this Orange squad in the forward. Goodness gracious. A lot of positives for this Orange squad as they move on down the road. Utah next week. That's Gunjan Silwa. I am Carson Cass. And that will be all from this week. Orange go 4-0 against the Cornhuskers and flip the flag. And they get a program win. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe and have a great night.